AI is everywhere, it seems like these days. Now, we can even get in our grills. So this isn't new that we have AI in our grills, like it's been around for a few years doing different things. But BriskIt, this company behind the Zelos 450 grill, is doing it a little bit differently. They're kind of taking some things that we're used to seeing on our phones with AI and putting it into a smoker that you can buy for 400 bucks. Chris, Gadgets and Gravel, stick around, let's see what this thing is. Like I said before, this is the BriskIt Zelos 450. So I tested last year, their flagship smoker from last year is a BriskIt Origin 580. It was a really nice grill, had some really great features. It's just a good everyday grill, but you can cook anything from pork butts and briskets down to burgers and dogs on a random weeknight. This is going to do a lot of that, but for less. So this, like I said, starts at 400 bucks. It's nothing overly exciting about the design of it. A lot of what you're getting in this grill from BriskIt is in the technology and how it regulates temperatures, but also the AI component of helping you cook foods that maybe you're not familiar with, getting ideas for things you have cooked that you want to do something different. So let's get into a little bit more of what we get with this. We'll talk about the design, the build quality, things I think can be improved, and whether this $400 grill should be sitting on your patio. All right, let's talk about the design and the build here. So as you might expect, at 400 bucks, you're not gonna get the most top of the line build materials that you're gonna find out there. That's just not gonna happen at 400 bucks. However, that does not mean the BriskIt skimped here. It's a good grill. It's a relatively thin metal, but that's to be expected. It's a barrel style cooker. It's got a full rear smoke discharge on it. So instead of coming out the side or just on an end, a good thing about this, it kind of helps flow that smoke all the way over your food to make sure you get it completely covered and get all that flavor in there. You've got a hopper here, which is gonna hold all your pellets in here. I haven't had any issue with this as far as capacity wise. I've run it from low and slow, roll all the way down from 180 degrees up to 500 degrees. And I've run it from that. I've cooked pork butts, I've done ribs, I've done chicken, I've done hot dogs, I've done hamburgers, I've done a little bit of everything. I've done frozen pizza on this thing. No issues there. I'll put the number up on the side. I believe it's a 20-pound hopper. I'll put the number up here to clarify that for you. For the controls, you got simple controls here. It's just a turn dial. You're gonna turn it, we'll select your temperature, press it to start, press and hold to end. Pretty easy to do. Nothing crazy here. It's just an old school LED display here. Easy to read, does the job. You do have 2 temperature probes that you can use to help monitor your foods, and a hole right here that they poke right through to go into the grill. So that's great. When you're cooking your food, being able to keep track of your temperature so you don't overcook it or dry out your food is wonderful. And being able to plug this in directly into it from the grill and monitor that temperature is nice. So that's a great feature. I'm glad that they were able to include this on such a low cost grill. You got some decent plastic wheels here, nothing crazy there. Here's your inside. So inside, like I said, it's the BriskIt Zelos 450. So you got 450 square inches of cooking space here. It's not gonna cook a meal for 30 people. It's just not the space for that. You're gonna be running burgers on and off, and hot dogs, you may be fine with that. But if you're trying to cook a bunch of steaks, it's probably not gonna be the grill for you because of limited cooking space. However, this is a great grill to have on just for a random night if you're cooking food for the family, have some people coming over. Nothing too bad about that. No shelf on the front. We get the shelf over here with 3 hanging points on it, and that's it. Like I said, there's nothing crazy about this grill as far as design, build quality. It's a decent grill. It's a $400 grill, so it's about as high quality as you'd expect that to be. But where BriskIt steps up is in their technology within the app and the AI features. So let's get into what we can do with that. So what I'm gonna do for the app, so I'm gonna put a little screen up over here and hopefully this works out, but I'm gonna put a screen up over here and kind of talk through the app a little bit. So the app for BriskIt, it's a nice app. It's well designed. They just recently did a redesign of the app and their AI component, which they call Vera. So we're on Vera 2.0 now. And in the app, we have the ability to do a lot of different things here. You can start your grill, you can shut down the grill, you can adjust the temperatures, you can check the temperatures for each probe that you have running on the grill. You can set cook times for each probe and temperature points. It's really great features all wrapped up into the app, and it's all pretty intuitive and easy to use. There's also a list of different places you can go and find new recipes, new ideas, things other people are doing. That's all handled in the app, easy to go through, save things that you want to do for later. Now, the part that really stands out is the AI component of this. when I used this last year, Vera, for the BriskIt Origin 580, it was on Vera 1.0, and it was relatively basic, but it's great for doing a lot of those just simple things. You ask a quick question, hey, what's a great recipe to cook some ribs quickly? Or, which I used on this to test it out, and turned out 2 racks of ribs, turned out delicious, they're great. But you can also use it to get ideas. If you've never cooked something, like, hey, how do I cook this? It'll give you a few different recipes for it. Now, Vera 2.0, I've had some issues with, and I'm gonna cover that in the what needs improved section. But the promise of Vera 2.0 is great. Improving on what was already existing from the initial version of Vera within the BriskIt app will be great, because it was already a good product to begin with. The improvements should bring some nice things, and I'll cover whether they do or not in a later section. But as far as the app goes, it's relatively simple to use. It lets you know what's going on with your grill. It's great as far as keeping notifications going, letting you know when it's started warming up, when it's hit temperature, when you start the shutdown process, and when it's done. It walks you through all of that, and it does a great job of all of that stuff. So what's it like to cook on this? Let's see. All right, so cooking on the BriskIt Zelos 450. It's nice. I mean, it really is. It works well. Like I said, it gets to temperature quickly. It does a pretty decent job holding temperature. So I'm gonna put some stats up on the side here, but I ran a thermocoupler tester across this to see how quickly it took it to reach 180 and then 350, how well it held those temperature across the 15-minute time range, and how much variation there was. I ran 3 probes across the grill to kind of see where we have hot spots and where cool spots are and how consistent those stay. I'm really glad that BriskIt put the burn pot on the end. A lot of grills put the burn pot in the middle. While that's fine, because it'll give you kind of an even distribution of heat and smoke across the entire grill. When you're cooking things like a brisket or a pork butt, and you want to cook them a little slower and get more smoke on them, it's good to be able to offset that to the end and get it away from the heat source, which is going to be on the end of the grill for this particular unit. So I'm pretty glad that they did that. I prefer that method overall. For an everyday grill that you're gonna be cooking most typical foods on, this does a great job. Like I said, I cooked 2 racks of ribs on here and had no issues with it at all. So cooking with it's good. Like I said, it'll go from 180 degrees to 500 degrees. It does it quickly. That's one of the things I like about this. Is the upside of having a thinner metal is it doesn't take it very long to get warm. So when I'm ready to cook some food in the middle of the week and just fire up some burgers or something, it's gonna be warm and ready to go quickly. During the summer, that's a great feature. During the wintertime, not so much, when because you lose a lot more temperature and heat out of this thinner material. But outside of that, like, cooking on this has been good. It's produced good flavor. I've run a variety of different pellets from different brands through it and haven't had any issues. It does have a nice grease trap down here and a little cup to catch all that for you. But it's a simple, easy to use grill. It's as simple as you can get for a pellet smoker that does a good job and has kind of a sneaky AI technology component to it. So it's kind of cool. Now let's talk more about what could get better though. Obviously at $400, there's gonna be some cutbacks to kind of reach that price point. And so, like I said, in the build materials, that's where you're gonna see a lot of that. It's all the same metal. You know, for the most part, it's all just a thin gauge steel. I even got a little dent in the back that happened from shipping. So I'd like to see build quality better, but it's one of the sacrifices I'm willing to make for a summertime grill that's only gonna cost me 400 bucks and produces good food. But the biggest thing that needs to improve is Vera 2.0, or their AI component. While that was the star of the show for the BriskIt Origin 580, their flagship cooker, it should be for this as well, and what really justifies the $400 price and making this such a better buy than some other grills in a similar price point. But like I said, they just redesigned the app and just launched Vera 2.0, and it has been, to say the least, hit and miss. Some days it'll work. I've reached out to the company and kind of reported my issues with it, and they've done some work in the background, and one day it'll work and the next day it won't. I tried it yesterday and it was fine. Tried it this morning and it doesn't work. So it's hard to say on that. You know, I do believe that they will get it fixed, because without it, there's very little things about this grill that stands out. So I believe they'll get it fixed, but as of right now, it is not working. I did wait an extra 2 weeks to do this review, hoping it would be resolved, and it's not. So I've got a report as it is now. So as of today, $400 brisket grill with an AI component that is not functioning. The app is still fantastic, and you can still do a lot with the app if that's where you're willing to go and kind of hold out and believe that they're going to fix it. But with Vera 2.0, the thing that I think is gonna be really interesting with it, and it's gonna be really cool, is it does have take a photo of the food you want to cook and say, hey, what are some recipes to cook this? Or what is this food? Or whatever. So it'll help you with that stuff. That's the part I have not got to test out. It's also not even working when I just type in what I need to have questions I don't want to cook or whatever. That's not working either. So it all worked last night. It's not working today. Hopefully they get this resolved and get it going again. But outside of that, at $400, I don't have a whole lot of complaints as far as the grill goes in terms of the cooker itself. Biggest complaint is on the AI part, which I hope they fix. Do I think you should spend $400 on this grill? I don't know, it depends. It's gonna depend on what you wanna cook, what your goals are for your cooking. If you're new to pellet smokers or new to smoking foods in general, this would be a great entry point into it to kind of get started and get to learning some of those things. You don't have a whole lot to mess with as far as you're not gonna be overly stressed on too much space and managing temperature across a large area. It regulates temperatures relatively well. You got a good range from 180 to 500 degrees cooking. So for somebody who's just getting started, this is a great option, especially with the app as it is now. It can still be beneficial, even though we're still struggling a little bit on the AI feature, which could help new cookers even more. If you're just looking for a grill that you can put on the patio, fire up a quick meal on a random night and get it done well, this is a good option for that, for just that as well. This would do good there too. Like I said, you can cook ribs. I've done pork shoulders and pork butts on it. It does those things just as well. So it's a really versatile cooker for 400 bucks. It just really depends on where you're at in your cooking experience and kind of your needs. If you're really looking for a $400 grill that is going to have ways to help you out if you're new and just maybe also expand your cooking experience, the BriskIt Zelos 450 can be that. It'll be that more once they're able to figure out the Vera AI component, assuming they do. But outside of that, $400, it's a great grill, good cooking range, easy to use. The app is great regardless of the AI feature. So take a look at this. I'll put links down below. Let me know if you have any questions. Stick around. Love to show you some more videos.